Hello and welcome back to my channel. Basically, I mermaid waved my hair. Now I'm feeling very summery because it's like beach vibes, this hair. So I put on a tank top and then I was like, hang on a minute. It's freezing because it's February. So then I put this on top, a cardigan to keep me warm. Anyway, I am going off topic. Today's video, I feel like this is a very long awaited video and I don't want to disappoint. And the thing is, I put it off for so long that it was just like, do I even do it anymore? Like, is it actually rude if I actually do this video? Because I've left it for so long that people would just be like,
Selina, like, you're taking the piss. We don't even want this video anymore. Like, this is rude.
I do this video every single year. I did my first year uni experience. That was actually what kind of set my channel off. It got a lot of views. I think it might be like my second most viewed video on my channel, not sure. I did my second year uni experience video. That didn't get as many views, but I just feel like at this point, this is a tradition. Now, a lot of people might want me or be expecting me to do a video where I drag the University of Exeter and expose them, but I've had a lot of time to reflect on the situation and think about it, and I don't want to do that. The reason being that I just don't think it's productive. I feel like this is a misconception that I regret going to the University of Exeter. I do not regret going to the University of Exeter. In my 3 years, I had one bad experience, but other than that, I had so many good experiences there and I don't regret it at all. And I also feel like it's just not necessary for me to do that, because if you want to know about the scandals and what's happened there, all you have to do is a Google search. You don't have to come to this video to find out. But I will be addressing what happened later on in the video. A lot of people want to know exactly what transpired. So I will be talking about that later on. But I feel like I need to give a couple of disclaimers. I wasn't happy with the way that the university handled a complaint, let's call it a complaint, that I had made. I spoke about it very openly on my channel and not everyone liked the way that I addressed it. I think if you do have a complaint about a university, you have every right to speak out about it and to pursue it until you get a resolution. So I absolutely do not regret being proactive about it and speaking out about it, but I do understand how some of what I said was a bit unprofessional. It's the way that I say it how it is. I don't really have a filter, and I think when I speak to the camera I feel like I'm just talking to friends, and so I am very like, I just say it how it is. But I know that not all of you guys are watching my videos and feel like my friends. Some of you do take offense to what I say, or don't know my character that well, so you're like, oh, she's a bit rude. During my time at uni and having my YouTube channel, all I wanted to do was show a real view of what my life was like at university. So I didn't want to really filter any of it. And I also want to say that I am not here to tell anyone which university to go to. I'm not here to tell you guys to avoid Exeter at all costs, to not go. My experience is just my experience. That's exactly what it is. It's not everyone's experience. And I also want to say that no one university is perfect. Every single university will have its flaws, will have its complaints. And just because I've spoke out about one bad experience I've had at Exeter, so you're thinking, right, well, I'm gonna go to the University of blah 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 instead. You may well go there and not be happy with something that happens there either, because I really believe that at every single university across the UK there are going to be students who have had bad experiences. Right, that was the longest disclaimer of my life. That was basically like half the video. Let's just say overall, third year, which is going to sound weird because you'll think third year was quite a difficult year for me because I had to have a surgery. So you'd think that maybe third year was not my favourite year. it sounds funny, but it was my favourite year. I just think that each year you're at university, you get more and more settled and more confident in being away from home, and you get more and more confident in your academic abilities. So for that reason, I think third year was actually my favourite year of university, just because I felt the most settled in third year, which makes sense. I lived in such a fun house in third year. We had so much fun. Every day I was actually creasing laughing. Like, people made me laugh every day, and it was just such a fun year, despite being the most stressful. Term 1, I was kind of in my element. I had really good modules in term 1 that I enjoyed. Term 2 was where I was like, fuck me, like we had some modules I did not enjoy. First term was kind of like, it was stressful, of course, you would have seen that in my vlogs, but it wasn't like shit gets real yet. It was like, you know, you have to put in the groundwork for your dissertation in term 1. So term 1 was really positive. Term 2 was a bit of a shit show. Like, I got back and I was ready to be positive. I really was. I was like, right, term 2, let's go. Term 1 was good. Let's continue this into term 2. In January, I found out I needed a surgery. Quick summary, I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was, I want to say 11, and that is a curvature of the spine. It got really bad. I had 3 curves, my spine was twisted, crushing my internal organs. I say it so casually. So when I was 13, they were like, this is really bad, we need to do something about this. So they put in the rods, and then I had, when I was 20, for about a year I had this awful pain in my back. It took them a full year to find out what was actually going wrong. I got that news in January of second term of third year of uni, that basically some of the screws at the top had come loose and they had moved. Yeah, they'd ricocheted out of their position, decided to go for a wander in my spinal canal. And that was dangerous, because they were like, if it goes much deeper into your spinal canal, you could become paralysed. And I was like, fabulous, Neil. What are you going to do about it then? And he was like, we need to get you operated on ASAP. It didn't happen till the end of March. And basically, they opened up the top bit. They took out a couple of screws and then they sewed me back up. It was very stressful. It brought back a lot of things for me. I don't want to get deep, but as I said, what I went through from 11 to 13 with my scoliosis and then having to have that big operation, it really messed me up. And once I had that operation, I kind of buried all those feelings and what I'd gone through, but then to have to face the similar kind of issues again, it kind of brought a lot back up for me. January and February, March were very stressful months for me, because I was trying to figure out what I was going to be doing with uni as well. There were talks about me actually coming back and doing an extra year at Exeter, and kind of keeping my results from first term, but redoing my second term, redoing my dissertation. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just really don't want to do that. Like, there's nothing wrong if it had to be that outcome, but I really didn't want to. So I was like, listen, I don't want to do that. I really think I could still do my dissertation without deferring it. I'm going to put my mind to it, and I'm going to do my dissertation with a 2-week extension. So that's what we did. And then we did defer my exams, because there was just no way I could fully prepare for my exams. So my exams were pushed back to August. Around this time I was very stressed, and I think it was in February that this whole incident happened with the uni, what I was referring to at the beginning of the video. What had happened was, we had this module where for our assessments we had to write press releases and thought papers. During our whole degree we had only ever had to do essays or critical reviews. So we were quite nervous about this because we were like, it's our final year where our grades count the most and we're being asked to do something we've never had to do before. We were taught that with press releases you use kind of lay terms, everyday language, nothing technical. It has to be language that the average person could understand, and I had chosen to write my press release on a scientific paper, something that was quite biological. So I was concerned, but I wanted to try and do it. So I emailed the module convener and I asked her, you know, I want to do my press release, but the paper I've chosen is quite biological. How would I go about that? Because I know with press releases, you know, I could get marked down if I use quite biological scientific terminology. So she advised me to take all of the kind of science out of it and just get the main ideas across. I took that advice, I wrote my press release accordingly. I failed that assessment, I got 28. And I honestly thought that was a joke at first. I looked at it, my operation was in like 2 weeks. I logged in thinking, oh, what's this gonna be? Probably, hopefully. To be honest, I wasn't sure how I'd done in it, so I was half expecting to log on and see a 2-2 and be like, whatever, we move. But I logged on and saw 28 and I was just like, I'm getting the next train back to Exeter, please. What is going on? Here's the short version. I complained about it because I really feel like I got that mark because I followed the advice that I had been given, and I didn't feel like that was fair. The feedback comments on the piece of writing were critiquing me for doing kind of exactly what she told me to in her email to me where I'd asked for advice. So I kind of brought that up to her and said I thought that was unfair, and I think it's just how a lot of universities work. Lecturers can't really be held accountable for the advice that they give you, unfortunately. I don't know why. It's this whole, I don't know, I feel like lecturers have a lot of pride. Basically, I think there was a bit of miscommunication or misunderstanding on her behalf, because she said to this in this email with this more senior staff member copied in that she had offered me further advice, but I decided not to take it, which was not the case because I have the email receipts and the dates. So I was like, oh, right. As I said earlier, my whole kind of stance towards this situation is that I wanted to be proactive and I wanted to do everything that I could in my power to change this grade, because it's not ideal to have 28 on your grade sheet. I went through the complaints procedure, I had meetings, and they were going to do like a proper investigation into it and see if they could get my grade changed. I gave them all of the receipts and they got back to me and said, sorry if I sound ill, it's because I'm still trying to get over my cold. They said that they decided not to do anything about it. So I was like, what do I do now? So the final step for me was to then appeal it and actually go to a committee where it sounded like a court case. Like I'd have to travel to Exeter, present my case. It was all like set up like court style. I was very scared to do this because I was thinking, if the people from the complaints procedure don't believe me or don't want to do anything about it, why would this committee want to do anything about it? And the idea of standing up in front of a group of adults who probably all hate me because of how I spoke out about it on YouTube and present my case, it was all just like this, you know, this doesn't really appeal to me, surprisingly. But I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna regret if I don't at least try. So again, I applied to do this thing and again, they rejected that. So what ended up happening with that assignment was that I had to retake it and be capped at 40. So I did end up getting that changed from 28 to 40, which is better than nothing. I was disappointed with that experience, to be honest, because I do feel like it's a bit unfair how lecturers can't be held accountable for the advice and guidance that they give you, and I did think that more could have been done about that, basically, in a nutshell. But I will say that the way that I was handled in regards to my operation, having to defer assessments, extend deadlines. I was so happy with how the uni dealt with that. That was amazing. I felt so looked after. They were so flexible with me. You know, I was expecting I'd go into a meeting and they'd say, we've looked at, you know, your case, what you're about to go through, and we've decided that you need to do this. They very much left it up to me. They were like, it's whatever you want to do. Like, if you want to come back and redo this year, you can do that. If you want to defer both your dissertation exams, you can do that. If you only want to defer one thing, you can do that. They also allowed me to still attend graduation in the usual time, so I still went to graduation in July. I think they're very good when you do have extenuating circumstances like that. They were really flexible with me, really understanding. So term 2 was just stress, health issues, an operation, beef with the uni. Term 3 was all right because I was recovering. My recovery was quite smooth, thank God, and I was just writing up my dissertation, and then I submitted that. Once I had that submitted, I gave myself a few weeks off. I had my birthday, and then I started revising for my August exams in June. I didn't really have a fun summer because I was just revising. I knew that my overall grade was hanging in the balance. It all depended on what I got in these exams. I had gotten my dissertation results in June and I got a first, so that was the first time that it dawned on me that a first was not out of reach anymore to get overall. During my whole degree, I was just going for a high 2-1, but for the first time, literally 2 months for my exams, I realised that I could get a first overall. So I was working so hard. I had my exam week in August and I got my results in September, and I got a first in all my exams and I got a first overall. So yeah, that was my final year experience at the University of Exeter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I answered any questions you had. I feel like most people would probably have clicked on this to hear about that whole incident, that whole mini conflict I had with the university, but really it's been a lot of time. I've reflected on it and it's all in the past. If you are unsure about Exeter, just go to the open day and just feel out whether you think it's the uni for you. Don't base your decision completely on my videos, please, because it is literally just my experience. But yeah, that's my 3rd year uni experience. The best year. It was my best year, despite everything. I honestly had the best time in my final year. And that was all thanks to the people who I was with, really. So if any of you guys are watching, any of my old housemates are watching, you guys made my 3rd year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash a thumbs up down below. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.